I think it is time the leadership of the unionist community wakens up to what is going on. We are sick and tired of the attempts by Sinn Féin IRA to glorify and justify the butchery of our people. We've seen that parade in Castledarg. That is only one of many, where these people believe they can walk the streets and glorify the butchery of innocent Protestant people from within that community. But not only the Castledarg community, people need to remember the first parade that they ever started in relation to that was in Pomeroy a few years ago. I warned them then that if nothing was done about it, that this would continue. Now, we stopped it in Pomeroy. It didn't get through the village of Pomeroy, but unfortunately it got through the village of Castledarg. The DUP appeared and they had a great photo shot, but unfortunately nothing was achieved. They walked in Castledarg, and I have spoken to a number of the victims who are disgusted, completely and utterly disgusted. And of course we want to keep everything dignified and respectful, but let's remember the people walking on that road to honour and glorify the butchery of our people are not dignified people. They are murderers, they are terrorists, they are the scum of this earth, and the only way you can confront these people is head on. Now, people who say, well, you must keep things dignified. Of course you must keep them dignified, but that also means that you must also stand up for what you believe to be right. And that is why the victims are going to start to hold rallies, parades, protests, whatever you want to call them. We'll be starting with one where we demand an inquiry into the butchery of the Protestant people in South Armagh. We tried over a year ago to hold a parade to commemorate the King's Mills. From the Glenanne factory, travelling along the route the minibus took, Sinn Féin, the local priests, the local SDLP, Newry Council come out and attacked us because the innocent victims wanted to walk along a route to remember their dead. These same people that murdered men, women and children can glorify their existence and at the same time condemn innocent people who were murdered at their hands. And we hear the Chief Constable and all these other people on condemning violence, and quite rightly so. Nobody condemned violence as much as we did. As a matter of fact, nobody did as much to confront violence over this last 40 years as our people did. But the one thing we will not do, we will not stand and allow anybody to bait the people within our community. And don't tell me the police do not do it, because I have suffered it firsthand when I was arrested wrongfully and beat on the road and beat in the back of the Land Rover. So whenever they come in and beat women and children on the footpaths, what do they expect? Mr. Baggett, what do you expect? If somebody beat your wife, have you got the backbone to stand up and defend her? Or would you walk away and leave her lying on the street? There are a bunch of imports, they're southerners, and they're full of IRA Sinn Féin. And we will not allow these people to come into our communities and beat us for no reason. There's good men and women within the PSNI. Let them do their job. Do not send these animals in to try and beat us, because they couldn't do it when they had their AK-47s. You think you're going to put them into a uniform and send them into our communities in Land Rovers and we'll take it? I don't think so. There is no justification for violence, but you have a right to defend yourself. So don't ask us to condemn what happened, because if Matt Baggett's police force had not come in and did what they did at the start, ordinary men and women would not have taken the stand that they had to take. And of course it was unfortunate there was violence, but Matt Baggett, you send in the SS to beat the Protestants out of the street, and it hasn't worked, and it won't work. Are you going to beat us out of the roads in South Armagh when we call for our inquiries, when we walk along the road to demand justice? In one case, we'll be calling for an inquiry into upwards of 100 murders by one gang of cutthroats, which was involved in the Kingsmill massacre, the Tullyvallen massacre. They took friends of mine and they kidnapped them, tortured them and brutally murdered them. We are now demanding justice, and the ordinary man, woman and child in South Armagh and indeed all over Northern Ireland are now saying we've had enough. The glorification of terrorism cannot be allowed to go unchallenged. The maze is the glorification of the butchers' campaign of the IRA. We will take them on and we will defeat them in that. Whenever you see the photo shot of the DUP, talk about self-promotion, self-publicity. That's what that was all about. And I know there's a number of people up there who support them, innocent victims, but there's also a number of innocent victims who are disgusted The DUP come there in strength. It is the only time they've come there in strength. They have done nothing whatsoever for the people of that area. And I didn't see the Unionist Party doing the same. I didn't see the TUV doing the same, or UPIC, or other groups who were there supporting them, lining up to get their photos taken as if they were there by some way or another that, look at us, look at the great things we're doing. Well, remember this, use the people that's going and sitting with the very people who walked on them roads. The very person who done the speech at that rally, yous are sitting and doing business with them. So don't stand on the streets and on the roads of our country and pretend that you're again Sinn Féin IRA when you're sitting taking tea with them. Because a number of the victims were disgusted with you using an opportunity to to justify your existence by thinking, oh, we'll come along and get our photos taken here. When were you going to go to the front and take a stand with the victims? When were you going to stand up and say something? From what I've been told, very little was done to confront Sinn Féin IRA by the DUP. You're a disgrace, that's what you are. You traded with fair, you didn't do it because we refused to allow you to take over. Then you tried to destroy us. I've said this to the people of Castle Derrick, do not let them in around you, because what they are is what the Sinn Féin were, self-promoting. That's exactly what they are. They do not care about the majority of the innocent victims, they only care about themselves.